Good morning, dear students. Today, we are going to discuss the antimalarial agents, or it is also called as antimalarials. So just reply yes or no in chat box whether everything is going smoothly, means voice, audio, and screen. So I will start our today's lecture immediately. I am planning to complete these antimalarial agents into lecture. So today we are going to discuss the malaria life cycle of malarial parasites and classification of antimalarial drugs. And in next lecture we will discuss about the chemistry of antimalarial agents. Okay, thank you very much. So without wasting time, we will start today's lecture. So I think you might be very well aware about the malaria, and also you are also having this malaria disease in first year health education syllabus, isn't it? So you are very well aware about the disease malaria. So that disease is mainly because of bite of mosquito, isn't it? So today's we will discuss first 2 points. That is, at the end of this today's web lecture, we will be able to, or you will be able to explain the life cycle of malaria parasites, and you will be able to define and classify anti-malarial agent. And on Wednesday lecture, we are going to discuss the chemistry and the structure of chloroquine and pyrimethamines and any other drugs. Okay. So today we are focusing on only two outcomes or two objectives, that is the life cycle of malaria parasites and definition and classification of anti-malarial agents. Okay. So parasites are nothing but the any agents which are depends on other living things for energy and foods. That is called as parasites. So that parasites or the plasmodium species of malaria is totally depends on the host life, that is either in a mosquito or in a human beings. They are depending on their foods on mosquito and on human beings. So that is the parasites. So malaria, no doubt, it is an infectious disease caused by bite of an Anopheles mosquito infected with certain protozoa. So mosquito is act as the vector. So vector means what? Which is the responsible for transmission of the protozoa. So if suppose you have a bite of female Anopheles mosquito who is already infected with the protozoa, then there will be a chance to cause the malaria. If male mosquito or any other female mosquito have a bite without infections of protozoa, that time malaria will not occur. So how this malaria get forms? Malaria is an infectious disease caused by a bite of an Anopheles mosquito infected with certain Plasmodium species such as Plasmodium falciparum This is the one of the Plasmodium species which cause the malaria. Then another species is Plasmodium malariae, Plasmodium vivax, and Plasmodium ohel. So these four are the Plasmodium species which cause the malaria. Which cause the malaria. Okay, I think this is the sufficient information for you peoples. I think this already covered it in health educations also. So an infectious disease caused by an bite of an Anopheles mosquito infected with certain protozoa, the infection of Plasmodium falciparum, infections of malaria, infections of Plasmodium vivax, and infections of Plasmodium oil. So these are four the name of Plasmodium species which having capability to cause the malaria in the human beings. So these are the common symptoms of malaria. So most commonly symptoms are sweatings, profound sweatings, and the fever. These are very common symptoms of malaria. Which common symptoms? Chills, sweating, and fever. So these are very common symptoms of malaria. No doubt. The malarial parasites also attacks on central means the headache. Okay, muscular means you feel a fatigues and pains within the muscles. You also have a back pain. There is a chance of enlargement of the spleen, sorry, stomach. Within stomachs, you may experience the nausea and vomiting if you are suffering from the malaria and the dry cough. So these are the symptoms of malaria. Suppose someone has infections with the Malarium plasmodium species, that time these three symptoms are very common, that is chills, sweating, and fever. जोरजोरात थंडी वाजणे, खूप सारा जास्त प्रमाणात घाम येणे आणि शरीराला खूप जास्त प्रमाणात तापमान असणे, टेम्परेचर येणे. ओके, शिवरिंग पण होतं, चिलिंग्स म्हणजे शिवरिंग पण होतं, थरकाप तो माणसाचा थोडा उडतो, कारण थोडं फटीक जाणवलेलं असतं मसल्समध्ये, थोडं पेन असतो, त्याचबरोबर थंडी पण वाजते आणि म्हणूनच थोडा असा शरीराचा थरकाप झाल्यासारखं दिसतं. हो की नाही? So these are the very common symptoms of malaria. Dear students, actually there is no need to study of the symptoms and other things. It is not, it will not ask in a examination. But if you know the symptoms, if you know the causative agents, if you know the cause of particular disease, it will very helpful to study, to understand the mechanism of action of drugs, to understand the chemistry of drugs. So that's why you have to first study the disease, what is actually mean it, what are the symptoms, what are the causative agents, okay, what actually happens within the body if that particular disease is there, and then try to think about the drugs useful for the treatment of that particular disease. So here there is some pattern of symptoms of malaria. It is a cyclical occurrence of sudden coldness, sudden coldness followed by shivering. So first symptoms is the shivering, थरकाप उडणे आपल्या शरीराचा. Then it is followed by the fever. So after shivering, your fever will comes, and then you will have experience of the sweating. ओके नाही, सुरुवातीला आपल्या शरीराचा थरकाप उडेल, इमिजिएटली त्याच्यानंतर आपल्याला ताप येईल आणि त्यानंतर आपल्याला घाम यायला सुरुवात होईल. सो फर्स्ट you are having the shivering, fever, and sweatings. If you have infections of the Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium ohel species, then these symptoms are reoccur every 2 days. These symptoms may occur after every 2 days. That's why the infection caused by Plasmodium vivax and infection caused by Plasmodium ohel is called as tertine fever, or someone pronounce it as tertian fever. It is tertian fever. Okay, what are the symptoms? That is cyclic occurrence of the which symptom, that is shivering, fever, and sweating. It is called as tertine fever or tertian fever. Why? Because इट ऑकर्स दॅट सिम्पटम्स ऑकर्स आफ्टर एव्हरी 2 days. प्रत्येक 2 दिवसानंतर आपल्याला अशा प्रकारचे सिम्पटम्स दिसायला लागतात. आज जर तुम्हाला सिम्पटम दिसले तर मधले 2 दिवस गॅप जाईल, तिसऱ्या दिवशी परत तुम्हाला हा सिम्पटम दिसतील, म्हणून त्याला आपण टर्शाइन फीवर असं म्हणतो. आणि कुठल्या केसमध्ये होतंय? द मलेरिया कॉज्ड बाय द प्लाझ्मोडियम वायवेक्स अँड मलेरिया कॉज्ड बाय द प्लाझ्मोडियम ओहेल. इफ यू हॅव infections of these two species, then you have a pattern of symptoms every 2 days. And on the other hand, suppose you have infections of Plasmodium malaria or Plasmodium falciparum, that time you will have experience of these symptoms after every 3 days. That's why it is called as Corton fever. That's why it is called as Corton fever. So this is the tertian fever and this is Corton fever. I think this is very clear. Okay. So the infection caused by Vivex and OHL, if you have an infection, then this symptom, that is shivering, fever and sweating, will observe after every 2 days. And if you suffering from the malaria, which is caused due to of the infection of Plasmodium malaria or Plasmodium falciparum, that time these symptoms are observed after every 3 days. सो प्रत्येक 3 दिवसानंतर जर तुम्हाला अशा पद्धतीचे जर सिम्पटम दिसत असतील तर समजून घ्यायचं की आपल्याला मलेरिया झाला असेल आणि आपण त्यानंतर इमिजिएटली लॅबमध्ये जाऊन आपण मलेरियाची टेस्ट करून घेतली पाहिजे, डायग्नोसिस टेस्ट, की जेणेकरून आपल्याला मलेरिया झाला की नाही हे कन्फर्म होईल. जर 2 दिवसांनी होत असेल ह्या गोष्टीच तरी आपण मलेरियाची टेस्ट करायला पाहिजे. Shivering, fever and sweating. So remember the symptoms, because if you know the symptoms, it is very helpful to you people to start the proper treatment for the treatment of particular diseases. So most important point is the life cycle of malaria. As it is a parasite, so it has 2 phases. Okay, I will going to zoom it. So I have zoomed it. I have taken this image from internet for your better understanding purpose. So dear students, you will find yellow color phase here, okay, at 1 number position. So 1 number step means what? The mosquito injects the parasites when it bites the humans. लक्षात घ्या, ज्या वेळेस एखादा डास म्हणजे तो फिमेल अॅनाफिलोस मॉस्किटो असेल, तो डास ज्या वेळेस ह्युमन्सला बाईट करतो त्यावेळेस तो त्याच्या सलायव्हरी ग्लँड्स मधून हे स्पोरोझॉइड्स म्हणजे प्लाझ्मोडियम स्पेसिस जी आहे त्याचे स्पोरोझॉइड्स तो ब्लड स्ट्रीम मध्ये एंटर करतो. ओके, व्हेन द मॉस्किटो हॅज अ बाईट, दॅट टाइम that mosquito is responsible to inject the parasites into the human blood streams, and through blood streams it will enter into the human liver. So whatever you find the red color, it indicates that the human phase. Whatever you find the light yellow color on your right side, it is the mosquito phase. So this life cycle of malarial parasites is in 2 phases. That is within the body of human, that is called as human phase, and within the body of mosquito, it is called as mosquito phase. I will share the 2 very short videos from YouTube of animations that will helpful to you peoples to get clear idea about the malarial life cycles. So I will share it on our Moodle platform also and on your WhatsApp group also. So by today evening, I will upload all the things on Moodle platform, as well as I will release the assignment also. So it will be helpful to you peoples to complete the assignments in your Diwali vacation, if suppose government issue the vacation notice. So I think the first stage is very clear to you peoples. Suppose mosquito has infections, means mosquito containing the parasites. जर त्या डासामध्ये तो पॅरासाइट जर अवेलेबल असेल आणि तोच डास जर ह्युमन्सला म्हणजे एखाद्या माणसाला जर त्यांनी चावा घेतला, तो चावा घेताना तो रक्त शोषून घेतो, त्याच वेळेस त्याच्या सलायव्हरी ग्लँड मध्ये जे स्पोरोझॉइड्स आहेत, स्पोरोझॉइड्स म्हणजेच काय की त्याच्यामध्ये जे पॅरासाइटचा जो काही भाग आहे तो पॅरासाइटचा भाग माणसाच्या रक्तामध्ये तो एंटर करतो, रक्तामधून तो जातो माणसाच्या लिव्हर मध्ये. ओके, सो स्टेज नंबर 1, the mosquito injects the parasites. When it bites the human, it releases the sporozoites into the bloodstream. So through bloodstream it will enter into the human liver phase. So within a liver phase, see here, you will get very clear idea. Suppose it is a mature form called as merozoites, that is also called as the schizones. Merozoites or schizones, it will get multiplied, it will get mature. Okay, number of merozoites are increasing. Okay, here is also increasing, and again from liver it will get entry into the blood circulation. लिव्हर मध्ये ते येतात, लिव्हर मध्ये आल्यावर त्याचं मल्टिप्लिकेशन होतं, मॅच्युअर फॉर्म तयार होतात आणि त्यांना मेरोझॉइड्स असे म्हणतात किंवा त्याला प्रायमरी स्किझोड्स असंही म्हणतात. काय म्हणतात? प्रायमरी स्किझोड्स. So then they will leave the livers and get entry into the bloodstream. So here you can say the human blood cells. It will invade the RBCs. RBC मध्ये ते एंटर करतात, आरबीसीच्या आतमध्ये ते प्रवेश करतात, and then either they will start the human blood cells again, means it will enter into the RBCs. Within the RBC it will get mature, again multiplication, and it will rupture the RBCs. It is called as rupturing of RBCs. आरबीसी मध्ये गेल्यावर ते मल्टिप्लाय होतात, मॅच्युअर फॉर्म मध्ये होतात आणि जास्त नंबर झाल्यामुळे आरबीसीला ते रप्चर करतात. आरबीसीला रप्चर केलं की पुन्हा ते ब्लड स्ट्रीम मध्ये येतात. ओके, परत ते आरबीसीला रप्चर करतात आणि ही सायकल कंटिन्यू चालू राहते. म्हणजे आपल्या आरबीसी मध्ये ते आरबीसीवर अटॅक करतात आणि आरबीसीवर अटॅक केल्यामुळे इरेथ्रोसाइट्सवर अटॅक करतात आणि इरेथ्रोसाइट्सवर अटॅक केल्यामुळे इरेथ्रोसाइट रप्चर होते आणि त्यावेळेस आपल्याला थंडी वाजून येते. असं समजायचं, ज्यावेळेस आपल्याला खूप जास्त प्रमाणात अचानक थंडी वाजली याचा अर्थ आपल्या ब्लड सेल्स मध्ये इन्फेक्शन झालेलं असेल, कशाच तरी असू शकतं. मेनली जर व्हायरल इन्फेक्शन असेल किंवा प्लाझ्मोडियम मलेरियाचं इन्फेक्शन असेल तर जास्त प्रमाणात थंडी वाजते. Okay, why? Because there is rupturing of the erythrocytes. So some of the merozoites or schizones which are formed during this blood phase, it will get re-entry into the human blood cell cycles or get into mature form as a gametocytes. म्हणजे आता ह्या माणसाला मलेरिया झालेला आहे आणि त्या माणसाच्या शरीरामध्ये किंवा तुम्ही असं म्हणू शकता त्या माणसाच्या रक्तामध्ये आता हे मेरोझॉइड्स प्रेझेंट्स आहेत किंवा स्किझोन्स प्रेझेंट आहेत. ते मॅच्युअर होतात गॅमेटोसाइट्स मध्ये. दॅट इज द सेक्शुअल स्टेज ऑफ द पॅरासाइट्स. ओके, इट विल फॉर्म्स आयदर मेल गॅमेटोसाइट्स ऑर फिमेल गॅमेटोसाइट्स. ते मॅच्युअर होतात, मेरोझॉइड्स तुमचे मॅच्युअर होतात गॅमेटोसाइट्स मध्ये, म्हणजेच ते सेक्शुअल स्टेज मध्ये एंटर करतात. त्याच्यामध्ये मेल गॅमेटोसाइट्स तयार होतात किंवा फिमेल गॅमेटोसाइट्स तयार होतात. आणि सपोज त्या माणसाला, ज्या व्यक्तीला मलेरिया झालेला आहे त्या माणसाला जर पुन्हा मॉस्किटोनी जर बाईट केलं, म्हणजे सपोज XYZ व्यक्तीला मलेरिया झाला, बरोबर, त्याच्या रक्तामध्ये हे मेरोझॉइड्स तयार झालेत, स्किझोन्स तयार झालेत, रक्तामध्ये ते मल्टिप्लिकेशनचं काम चालूच आहे. त्याचबरोबर काही मेरोझॉइड्स, काही स्किझोन्स हे गॅमेटोसाइट्स मध्ये मॅच्युअर झालेत आणि जर त्या व्यक्तीला मॉस्किटो म्हणजे डासाने जर चावा घेतला तर त्या मॉस्किटोच्या शरीरामध्ये हे गॅमेटोसाइट्स एंटर होतात. So when female Anopheles mosquito have again bite to the same persons who are infected with the malarial parasites, so that gametocytes are entered into the mosquito body. So see here, color get changed from red color to faint yellow color. So now these gametocytes are entered into the body of mosquito. So within mosquito body, so there is the fertilization take place. Okay, that is the sexual stage take place. So male gametocytes mix with the female gametocytes, so maturation take place. So it will converts into the oocytes and finally it will form the oocytes. Okay, so from oocytes zygotes get forms, mature formation take place. Here the sexual phase get completed and then it will convert into the sporozoites. So these cycles are continue. I think this is a much more good diagrammatic representations for the understanding of life cycle of malaria parasites. Remember, parasites means what? Who are depending on other life for their food and energy. Parasites म्हणजे काय की जे दुसऱ्यावर अवलंबून आहे, दुसऱ्या जीवावर अवलंबून आहे त्यांच्यासाठी एनर्जी आणि अन्न मिळवण्यासाठी, असे म्हणजे पॅरासाइट्स. मलेरिया आपल्याला डासांमुळे होतो, परंतु त्या डासामध्ये ज्या डास आपल्याला चावणार आहेत त्या डासमध्ये तो प्लाझ्मोडियम स्पेसिस असेल तर त्या व्यक्तीला मलेरिया होतो. डास हे त्याचं पॉझिटिव्ह एजंट नाही. ओके, मॉस्किटो इज नॉट अ पॉझिटिव्ह एजंट ऑफ मलेरिया. Plasmodium species is the causative agent of malaria. The Plasmodium species are parasites and they are depending on the human body as well as the mosquito for their energy, for their food, for their life cycle. So half life cycles of malarial parasites are taken place in human, that is called as human phase, and half part of malarial plasmodium parasites are taken place in mosquito, that is called as mosquito phase or mosquito stage. So there are two stages. Half phase is in human and half phase in mosquito. Okay, I think this is a much more sufficient informations about the malarial parasites. Okay, last year also you have gone through these life cycles, but I thought it will be very good if you have the revision. Okay, it will be very useful for your pharmacology also. So what happens? I have again make one diagrammatic representations for you peoples. So mosquito phase and human phase. Mosquito phase and human phase. So what happens? The first female Anopheles mosquito bite the human. So that time he releases or mosquito releases the sporozoites into the human bloodstream. So it will get mature within your liver. Okay, that is called as tissue ski zones. Okay, from tissue ski zones, or you can call it as merozoites, it entered into the blood circulations. You know what? In previous slide we have seen, in blood circulations it will get again remature and it will form the again mature form of merozoites, that is called as secondary tissue ski zones. Secondary tissue ski zones. लक्षात घ्या विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, काय होतं, डास चावल्यानंतर आपल्याला ते स्पोरोझॉइड्स ब्लड स्ट्रीम मार्फत लिव्हरमध्ये येतात. लिव्हरमध्ये एक मल्टिप्लिकेशन होतं आणि दुसरं मल्टिप्लिकेशन आपण आरबीसी मध्ये पाहिलं, म्हणजे इरेथ्रोसाइट्स मध्ये मल्टिप्लिकेशन पाहिलं. सो फर्स्ट मल्टिप्लिकेशन द मेरोझॉइड्स फॉर्म इज कॉल्ड ॲज प्रायमरी टिश्यू ski zones, and second multiplication which taken place in a erythrocytes is called as secondary tissue ski zones or merozoites. Then from these merozoites again it will what it will get enter into the RBC again, or it will get some mature form into the gametocytes. That is, gametocytes is present in a blood. If suppose that particular persons have a bite of that particular mosquito, then zygote get forms within the mosquito body. From zygotes to oocytes, oocytes to sporozoites in a salivary glands, and through salivary glands that sporozoites are entered into the human phase. So intentionally I have made the different two colors. Okay, half part of your slides having the background is different, that is the human phase. Half part is without background, that is the mosquito phase. Okay, whatever the you found in blue color, that is taken place in human body. Whatever you found the orange color, that is taken place in a mosquito body. So this is the malarial parasites life cycle. One more graphical presentations I have made for you peoples. What happens? This is the text graphical representations. Mosquito cause an infections by a bite. So after biting, what happens? It releases the sporozoites, and that sporozoites enters the bloodstream, and then it will migrate within the liver. Okay, then within the liver what happens? They will multiply and they form a mature form called as merozoites. Then it will get re-entry into the blood circulations. Okay, it will sometimes it will rupture the liver cells also and return to the blood streams. जे लिव्हर सेल्स रप्चर करून ते ब्लड स्ट्रीम मध्ये परत येतात, ब्लड सर्क्युलेशन मध्ये परत भाग घेतात. विदिन द ब्लड स्ट्रीम व्हॉट हॅपन्स? It will infect the red blood cells, where again they developed, that is tropozoites, merozoites, all are the same things, and schizoids also, and then transpose further merozoites. म्हणजे फर्दर त्याचं मल्टिप्लिकेशन्स ब्लड आरबीसी मध्ये होतं, इरेथ्रोसाइट्स मध्ये होतं. And after that, some of the merozoites, not all, some of the merozoites developed the immature gametocytes. Immature means what? They require the mosquito body to get the maturity. For that purpose, they again re-enter into the female Anopheles mosquito, where the maturity taken place, okay, sexual mutation take place. So that time it will complete their life cycles, and then they will form the zygotes, oocytes, and from that they will form the sporozoites. So sporozoites is now present in the mosquito, and again mosquito bite to the next human host. Okay, so these cycles are get continue. So I think this is much more informations about you peoples, about the malarial life parasites. Okay, you have any doubt regarding the life cycle of malaria? Yes, I want the answer from you peoples. Have you any doubts about the life cycle of malaria? Yes. If you don't have any doubts, then we will move further. Okay, Gaurav. Very nice. Okay, then we will move further. So up to here we have finished our first part. Now our second part is anti-malarial agents. It is also called as antimalarials. It is also called as anti-malarials, or it is called as anti-malarial agents. Remember, anti means what? Against. Used for the treatment of something. To have opposite actions. That is called as anti. So anti-malarial agents are the agents which are useful for the treatment of malaria. No doubt. The chemical agents or the drugs which are useful for the treatment of malaria are called as anti-malarial agents. But in some of the books, I have found the definition, that is antimalarial agents are any type of anti-parasitic chemical agents. Anti-parasitics. So these are the parasites. That is plasmodiums are the parasites. Yes, symptoms are observed. I will explaining in the next slides. Very good question, Kiran. After entry of sporozoites up to the gametocyte, symptoms is observed in human or not? Yes, it is observed. And when it will be observed, I will show you in a diagrammatic representations. I have made the text graphical representations for that purpose also. We have seen it in classifications. Okay. So anti-malarial agents are anti-parasitic because the malaria is the parasitic disease. So these are the anti-parasitic chemical agents, and it can be used to treat as well as it is useful to prevent the malaria. Not only for it is useful for the treatment, but it is also useful for the preventions of malaria also. Suppose you have a proper history along with you. Suppose you have a bite of mosquito, and if in our area, suppose someone is having sick from the malaria, then that time you can start these drugs also for the prevention purpose, because it is very useful to prevent the malaria also. Okay, so let's see again the malarial life cycle, because through these malarial life cycles we are come to know where the drug is actually act. ड्रग तुमच्या लाईफ सायकलवर कुठे ऍक्ट होतो. आपण मॉस्किटोवर तर अटॅक करू शकत नाही. याच्यापूर्वी जर आपल्याला अटॅक करायचा असेल तर आपण काय वापरू शकतो सांगा बरं. सपोज यू वॉन्ट प्रिव्हेन्शन्स फ्रॉम मलेरिया, and if you want to attack on this stage, so what we can do for the preventions of ourselves to get free from the malaria? Yes, I want answer from you. Are you getting my question? My question is what? Which strategy or which steps take you have to take to prevent the malaria at this stage? Yes, Kiran, very good. Odomas. So if you want to free from the malaria, prevent the bite of mosquito. So you have to apply the some of the repellent, mosquito repellent, isn't it? Some of the mosquito repellent. There are so many mosquito repellents are available within the market. And that if you are using that mosquito repellents, okay, there is mosquito coils are available, okay, mosquito sticks are available, some liquid is available. Hmm? It's good morning, Nandini. It's not night. Hmm? You have to use the correct spelling of good night, isn't it? Okay, you know very well. So prevention is better than cure. So you have to use many of coils for the purpose of preventions of mosquito bite. So it will localize the sporozoites within the human liver. Then sporozoites are from the primary tissue skin zones within the liver. That is called as pre-erythrocytic stage. So whatever the stages observed in a liver, human liver, that stage is called as pre-erythrocytic stage. That is called as pre-erythrocytic stage. Yes, fast card is also useful. Very nice. Mosquito net is also useful, but we need to active. Yes, but my question is what? Whether that spelling is correct or wrong, because I don't know. I have not seen the correct. Yes, Vaishnavi has given the correct spelling. Hmm? I know that good night having the liquid which prevents from the mosquito. So try to find out which chemical agents present in all that liquids. Hmm? So you will get the correct idea. So whatever the stage is taken place up to the liver stage, that is called as pre-erythrocytic stage. Then after the pre-erythrocytic stage, means after the formation of primary tissue skin zones, it will get re-entry into the blood circulations. So within that, they will invade the erythrocytes and it will form the secondary tissue skin zones, which is released from the erythrocytes. आरबीसी मधून ते बाहेर पडतात. तर जे काही आरबीसीच्या आतमध्ये होतं, तुम्ही ते आतमध्ये पहा असेल रेड कलर होता आणि रेड कलर मध्ये असे ब्ल्यू कलरचे डॉट 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 होते. Whatever the life cycle stage taken place within the RBCs, that stage is called as erythrocytic stage. And when there is a rupture of RBCs and it will form the secondary tissue skin zones, it will rupture the infected erythrocytes and invade the other erythrocytes. म्हणजे आधीचे ते काय करतात, त्या इरेथ्रोसाइट्स मधून रप्चर होतात, बाहेर पडतात इरेथ्रोसाइटला रप्चर करून आणि नवीन इरेथ्रोसाइट्सला म्हणजे नवीन आरबीसीजला ते इन्व्हेड करतात. That time you will observe the symptoms, that is chilling, fever and profound sweating. That time you will observe the symptoms within that particular human beings. When there is rupture of erythrocytes and again there is invading that particular tissue skin zones or merozytes to other erythrocytes. When there is rupture of the cells taken place, that time that particular persons having the symptoms such as chills, fever and profound sweating. Up to that stage, we don't know whether we are suffering from malaria or not. But when there is rupturing is started, okay, when there is rupture is started, that time it is symptoms is observed. Yes, we are studying about the antimalarial agents and whatever the liquid present within that particular all the liquids, isn't it? That is mosquito repellents. These are the pesticides. Okay, so we are not dealing with the poisons, we are dealing with the antimalarial agents which are useful within the human body stage. So I think Kiran Badguzar's question is over. So when these chills and fevers means when the symptoms are observed, when there is rupturing of erythrocyte is started, there is the symptoms are observed. Okay. So after that, what happens? That time is called as it is exoerythrocytic stage. After completion of erythrocytic stage, the stage get means there is maturity of that schizones into the gametocytes. Okay. That stage is called as exoerythrocytic stage. पहिली स्टेज लिव्हर मध्ये होते, त्या लिव्हरच्या स्टेजला म्हणतात प्री इरेथ्रोसायटिक स्टेज. सेकंड स्टेज ही आरबीसी मध्ये होते, म्हणजे इरेथ्रोसाइट्स मध्ये होते, त्या स्टेजला म्हणतात इरेथ्रोसायटिक स्टेज. आणि त्यानंतर इरेथ्रोसाइट रप्चर होतं, रप्चर झाल्यानंतर इरेथ्रोसाइटच्या बाहेर स्टेज चालू होते, प्रोसेस चालू होते, आणि मग त्या प्रोसेसला किंवा त्या स्टेजला म्हणतात एक्झो इरेथ्रोसायटिक स्टेज. लक्षात घ्या, लिव्हरमध्ये मॅच्युरेशन होतं, मग परत ब्लड सर्क्युलेशन मध्ये येतं, ब्लड सर्क्युलेशन मध्ये इरेथ्रोसाइट्स मध्ये ते जातात. ओके, इरेथ्रोसाइटला ते रप्चर करतात आणि मग मॅच्युअर फॉर्म मध्ये येतात आणि मग मॉस्किटो बाईट करतो. ओके, ह्या जर स्टेजेस तुमच्या लक्षात आल्या तर तुम्हाला हे लक्षात येईल, लिव्हरमध्ये होत असलेली स्टेज म्हणजे प्री इरेथ्रोसायटिक स्टेज, विदिन द इरेथ्रोसाइट that is erythrocytic stage. After the rupturing of the erythrocytes, that process is in exoerythrocytic stage. Why it is important? Because once the tissue schizones or secondary tissue schizones are released from the erythrocytes, they will form the male as well as female gametocytes in blood. So if you have proper history of your surrounding environments, suppose someone is suffering from the malaria and also you are having chance of the biting of mosquito, that time you have to use the prophylactic agents, that is preventive agents. Okay, means at this stage, म्हणजे तुम्हाला शंका आली की आपल्या जवळच्या आसपास भागामध्ये मलेरियाची साथ सुरू झाली, आसपासच्या आपल्या कॉलनीमध्ये मलेरिया झालेला आहे आणि आपल्याला सुद्धा डासाचं इन्फेक्शन म्हणता येईल तुम्हाला, किंवा डासाचं बायटिंग आपल्याला झालं असेल, डासाने जर आपल्याला चावा घेतला असेल, ती जर शंका आली आपल्याला, तर आपण प्रोफॅलॅक्टिक एजंट्स म्हणजेच प्रिव्हेंटिव्ह एजंट्स आपण घेऊन ह्या ठिकाणी मलेरियल लाईफ सायकल आपण स्टॉप करू शकतो. इफ यू आर having that particular correct history of your environment, surrounding environment and surrounding peoples, then you can start to take the prophylactic agents for the further development of the malarial parasites life cycles within your body. So you will be able to kills or stop the further maturation of sporozoites within your body, isn't it? So that agent is called as prophylactic agents. It is means it is useful for the preventions. And it will act at pre-erythrocytic stage. म्हणजे आपल्या आरबीसीला इन्व्हेड होण्यापासून आपण वाचू शकतो. ओके नाही, म्हणजे आपल्याला थंडी, ताप वगैरे कुठल्याही प्रकारचे सिम्पटम्स आपल्याला दिसणार नाही. So that prophylactic agents is active against the sporozoites. It will kills the sporozoites within the livers. Then second is the suppressive agents. Second type of antimalarial agent is suppressive agents, which can suppress, which can block further development of primary tissue schizones to secondary tissue schizones. So it will act at erythrocytic stage. It will act at on a erythrocytic stage. It will suppress the further development. It will suppress the further development of malaria within that particular human beings. त्या माणसामध्ये मलेरियाची डेव्हलपमेंट तो या स्टेजवर येऊन थांबवू शकतो, म्हणजे त्याला पण सिम्पटम दिसणार नाही. घेतले तर चांगलंच असतं, कारण काय होतं, ह्या स्टेजमध्ये गॅमेटोसाइट्स तयार म्हणजे होणारच नाही जर हे तयार नाही झालं. पुढचे आपण काय म्हणतो त्याला, क्युरेटिव्ह एजंट्स, और इट इज युजफुल फॉर द ट्रीटमेंट. मीन्स व्हॉट, नाउ इट इज नॉट इन आवर हँड, ऑलरेडी द मलेरिया इज डेव्हलप्ड. ओके, सो देर इज नीड टू किल्स द schizones which are available in human body. Okay, so that is called as the curative agents. So prophylactic agents, suppressive agents and curative agents. But sometimes we also use the gametocidal agents. Why gametocidal agents are used? Because if you are using the gametocidal agents, whatever the gametocytes present in that particular humans, they are get kills. So here further spreading get stops. जर त्या व्यक्तीला पुन्हा एकदा जर डासाने जर चावा घेतला तर ते गॅमेटोसाइट्स त्या डासामध्ये जातात आणि ती सायकल परत कंटिन्यू होते. टू ब्रेक द सायकल फ्रॉम द मॉस्किटो फेज, वी नीड टू टेक अ गॅमेटोसाइडल एजंट. सो द व्हॉट एव्हर द गॅमेटोसाइट्स आर डेव्हलप्ड विदिन दॅट पर्टिक्युलर ह्युमन होस्ट, they are get killed. So further process of spreading of malaria from one person to another person gets stops. Are you getting my point? So here on the depending on the life cycle of malarial parasites, or you can say the stage at which the different drugs are act, the malaria antimalarial agents are classified into the 4 classes. First class is the prophylactic agents, which is act within the liver. Then second class is suppressive agents, which can suppress the malaria at erythrocytic stage. Third class is the curative agents, which is act at exoerythrocytic stage. So it is useful for the treatment. And last, the gametocidal agents, which can useful for the further transmission of malaria from one patient to another patient, because already this patient is already suffering from the malaria. But if suppose another biting of the female anopheles mosquito or of that particular patient, so gametocides are enter into the mosquito and cycle get continue to infect the other humans. So for that purpose, treatment also include the gametocidal agents. Okay, depending upon where the drugs are act, means at which stage the drugs will act, depending on that, the antimalarial agents are classified into the four classes. That is prophylactic agents, suppressive agents, curative agents, and gametocidal agents. We are not knowing the stages. These are the, if suppose you are having chills, fever, and profound, that time it means that the two stages are over. Already, what happens? The same drugs are useful for the different stages. Why? Because if you see, I will go to the previous slides. Okay, then you will get correct idea. Jindal, I will get it your questions at last. Okay, I will explain you how it will be useful. Okay, we don't know about the stages because we don't know whether the actual the ski zones get actually it is available in livers or it is now available in the blood circulation. But if you see the examples, it means that the drugs act on different stages. So antimalarial agents, first class is the prophylactic agents. Example is primaquine and pyrimethamine. Example is primaquine and pyrimethamines. Second is the suppressive agents. Okay. Example is chloroquine and pyrimethamine. See Jindal, here the pyrimethamine drugs can act at first stage as well as on second stage. Okay. Third class is the curative agents. Examples are chloroquine. See, the chloroquines are useful at stage number 2 as well as stage number 3. Okay. Now, last class is the gametocidal agents. For example, primaquines and pyrimethamines. You can see here the same drugs can be useful. Okay. But why we have divided into the four types? Because they have ability to act on the different stages. But we know means whatever the humans are infected with that particular malarial parasite, they don't know whether their stage is 1, they are it in stage 2, or they are it in stage 3. But we need to take the drugs to kill all the possible merozoites, all the possible schizones, or you can say all the possible tropozoites or gametocytes which are present in that particular human body. Now, next classification is depending on the chemical class. Next classification is depending on the chemical class. So first is the quinoline antimalarials. Quinolines. Quinolines means what? Means the antimalarial agents, those having the quinoline ring. Those having the quinoline ring in their structure. It is subdivided into the, again, different class. First one is the natural alkaloids, or you can say the cinchona alkaloids. You can say cinchona alkaloids. For example, quinine and cinchonin. Quinine and cinchonin. These drugs are useful for the treatment of malaria. Their source is the alkaloids, and it is obtaining from the cinchona bark. And they are having the quinoline in their structure. That's why it is grouped under the quinoline antimalarials. Then second class is what? 4-aminoquinolines. 4-aminoquinolines. So here is homework for you peoples. You have to draw the ring of quinoline. You have to draw the ring of 4-aminoquinoline, and you have to draw the ring of 8-aminoquinolines. So 3 rings you have to draw. Then you will find out the difference between the quinoline 4-aminoquinoline and 8-aminoquinoline. Are you getting my point? So examples of 4-aminoquinoline is the chloroquine. I have make it the asterisk mark, that is star. It means you need to study the structure of chloroquine. I have not written the heterocyclic ring in bracket because already its class indicates the which heterocycle ring is present in their structures. Okay, so chloroquine is an example of quinoline heterocyclic rings. And another example is amodiquine. 8-aminoquinolines is a primaquines and palmaquines. Primaquine and palmaquines are the examples of 8-aminoquinoline. Then second class is acridine dye. Means these drugs having the acridine ring in their structure. For example, quinacrine and acriquine. Quinacrine and acriquine. Third class is 4-quinoline carbinolamines. 4-quinoline carbinolamines. For example, mefloquine. For example, mefloquine. Then class number 4 is diaminopyrimidines. Diaminopyrimidines, and example of drug is pyrimethamines. I have made it the asterisk marks. I have not written the heterocyclic ring present in the structure. Why? Because class itself having the name of heterocyclic ring. And heterocyclic name is pyrimidines. So along with the structure of quinoline, 4-aminoquinoline and 8-aminoquinoline, you have to draw the structure of pyrimidines. Okay, so it will be very useful to you people to remember the structure and to give the revision of common heterocyclic rings. So draw the structure of pyrimidine also. Example is pyrimethamines. Example is pyrimethamine. Then number 5, biogonides, proguanyls and chloroproguanyls are the examples. Bi means 2 and guanides means guanidine class. Okay, but don't bother about their structures because in your syllabus they have not asked the structure of proguanyls and chloroproguanyls. 6 number drug is the sulfone. Example is dapsone. So dapsone is also useful for the treatment of malaria. The dapsone is an anti-leprotic agent. We have seen it. Okay, DDS, diamino diphenyl sulfone. So it is also useful for the treatment of malaria. So you can write the uses of dapsone in the leprosy. That is, it is useful for the treatment of leprosy. It is useful for the treatment of the tuberculosis, and it is useful in the treatment of malaria also. Okay. Then point number 7, that is last class, that is miscellaneous. That is antibiotic is used for the treatment of malaria is the doxycycline from the tetracycline class. Okay, so there are 7 class. First class is the quinoline antimalarials, in which subclass is the cinchonalkaloids. Example is the quinine, cinchonine. Then second class is 4-aminoquinolines. Example is chloroquine, amodiquine. Then 8-aminoquinolines means amino group at 8 number position. For example, primaquine and palmaquine. Then acridine dyes, for example, quinacrine, acriquine. 4-quinoline carbinolamines, that is mefloquine. Then diaminopyrimidines, that is pyrimethamine. Biguanides, that is proguanyls and chloroproguanyls. And sulfones, that is dapsone. And last class is the miscellaneous doxycycline. So in that chapter, you need to study the structure of chloroquines and pyrimethamine. We are going to discuss the structure of these drugs along with the properties and all other things in a next lecture. So immediately you have to start to give your attendance in chat box. Directly put it, your roll number in chat box. So be fast. Within 1 minute, you have to finish your attendance. Then I will show you the answer of Jindal questions also. And if you have any query, then we will go for that. You directly give your attendance. I have note down the timing. Okay. So once I declare attendance is over, after that I will not take into the consideration your attendance. Still, the some of the students have not renamed their Gmail accounts. You have to rename your Gmail account with your roll number. Okay. Yes, if someone has some problem, they can put it in chat box now. Your attendance is over. I have recording your attendance now. Those who have not updated their first name and last name, they have to update it. Your roll number should be reflect in your name. Yes, anyone having any problem? Can I ask it in the chat box? वैष्णवी बावणे आपल्याकडे कोणी 4 नंबर असा नंबर आहे का? वैशू बावणे आपल्या क्लासमध्ये आहे का? Yes, Vaishnavi Bhavani, you are from our college. If you are attending from other college, there is no need to give your attendance because it will create some issue. I think Pooja Kunde is not from our class. Jindal, okay. 49. Okay. Now we will discuss the query asked by our Jindal. Okay. I will just save the attendance and we'll discuss the query. 6 number. Jindal, see here. We have seen the 4 types of drugs where they act at the different stages of malarial life cycle. Okay. So what happens? See here that stage. If suppose you are taken only the gametophytes, gametocidal agents, means that agents having ability to kill the gametocytes. But what about the merozoites which are re-entered into the RBCs, multiplying, rupturing RBCs, and this cycle is go on continuation. Okay, so we need to kill the merozoites which are available within the RBCs, merozoites which are mature in the gametocytes. Okay, some of the merozoites are also remaining in the livers, so we need to kill that. So we don't know whether the stage or whether these all the merozoites are clear from our RBCs or not. Okay, we can't imagine how much merozoites is remaining in our body. So we need to take a drugs. For example, you can say the pramaquins or pyrimethamines having ability to kill at stage number 4 as well as stage number 1, that is the sporozoites. Okay, if you see the chloroquines have ability to kill the merozoites in RBCs or the erythrocytic stage and exoerythrocytic stage. So that's why it is very important to kill the all possible form of the sporozoites, merozoites, schizones, or gametocytes which are present in the human body. Because we don't know how much merozoites are converted into the gametocytes and how much merozoites are again re-entered into the multiplication process. So that process is continuously. So number of merozoites are increasing day by day. So you have to take care, means you have to take a drugs which having ability to act on different stages. So completely eradications of malarial parasite will be taken place. Okay, which type is more dangerous? Hmm? Which type is more dangerous, sir? Sir is always dangerous. Kiran, you know some of the malaria having the reoccurrence. That is called as relapse malaria. That is recurrent malaria. I think Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium vivax. Sorry, Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium oil. That malaria is somewhat dangerous because that might be chance to the no problem, Vaishnavi Bhavne. You can attend this class, but you have to don't give the attendance here. You can give attendance to your teachers. So where we are, रिलॅप्स मलेरिया असं म्हणतात त्याला. रिलॅप्स म्हणजे काय, की साधारण सगळे तुम्ही सिम्पटम्स फ्री झालेत आणि साधारण 8 ते 24 आठवड्यानंतर परत तुम्हाला मलेरिया होण्याची शक्यता नाकारता येत नाही. कारण काय, आपल्या शरीरामध्ये जर काही लिव्हर सेल्समध्ये जर काही स्पोरोझॉइड शिल्लक असतील, त्याला आपण हिप्नोझॉइड्स असंही म्हणतो, आणि मग ते मॅच्युअर होऊन पुन्हा एकदा आपल्याला ते सिम्पटम द्यायला सुरू करतात. त्याला आपण म्हणतो रिकरंट मलेरिया किंवा त्यालाच आपण म्हणतो relapse malaria. It is often seen in Plasmodium vivax as well as the Plasmodium oil type of infections. It will take around 8 to 24 weeks for the recurrence. So we need to very careful for the complete treatment of malaria. Now, one more homework for you peoples, or one more thinking work for you peoples. Try to find out if you have medical stores nearby your home, but you have to maintain the SMS, that is sanitization, mask, and social distancing. But try to find out the dosage of chloroquines. Okay, how much day is required for the treatment? How much tablet is required? How much tablet to be taken at initial stage and later stage? So you will get the idea. Means dosage regimens. You will get it. Try to find out from your medical shops. एक स्ट्रिपच अशी वेगळी येते क्लोरोक्विनची टॅबलेट फॉर्ममध्ये. जी तुम्ही चेक करा, एक वेळेस एकच गोळी घ्यायची का 2 घ्यायच्यात आणि किती घ्यायच्यात आणि कशा घ्यायच्या. Okay, so this is from my sides. I have tried to finish my content within stipulated period, because I know you people are attending this online lecture since from 1 hour, and there is no meaning to take the long lectures. Okay, because you have to attend the one more lecture after taking the break of half an hour. So might be you are enjoying the online lectures, and I think today there will be no issue of the audio as well as the screen, because in last lecture most of the people's having the issue with the audio as well as the visualization of screens. Okay, so this is from my sides. So remaining part of anti-malarial agents we will discuss on Wednesday. So as per my schedule, I have completed most of the chapters before Diwali. After Diwali, we will immediately start the most important chapter is the antibiotics. Okay, because antibiotics is very important chapters, and I think we required around 4 lectures. So whenever I am going to start the antibiotic, that time we will have uh, 3 or 4 lectures within 1 week only, because if we give breaks, it will not able to connect the previous content with the next content. So antibiotic is somewhat big chapter, and we require around 3 to 4 lectures, and within that week we will have a continuous lectures, means on Monday, on Wednesday, on Friday or Saturday we will have a lectures, and we will try to finish up the antibiotics within 1 week. So there will be no too much breaks, so that you will get that antibiotic chapters very clearly. It is very useful. Just remember me just remind me about the uh, animated video of the malarial life cycles. I will post it in your groups so that you will have a clear idea about the malaria life cycle. Okay, so by today evening I will finish up the uploading all the contents on Moodle. I am going to upload the assignments on Moodle also. Okay, only Moodle. I will not share it in your WhatsApp groups. Those who are not received the Moodle username and password, they should contact me. I will finish up all the my work by today evening or by today nights up to 9 or 10 a.m. 10 p.m. Sorry. So thank you very much, dear students. You have to take care. जरी आज आपल्या महाराष्ट्रामध्ये करोना रुग्णांची संख्या आपल्याला कमी दिसत असेल, त्यामुळे कुठेही आपण जे नियम पाळत आहोत मागील 8 महिन्यापासून, ते नियम जसेच्या तसे पाळणं आपल्याला बंधनकारक आहे. हे लक्षात ठेवा. आपल्याला दुसऱ्या लाटेपासून आपल्या स्वतःला वाचवायचं आहे. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट्स? नाहीतर तुमच्या गावामध्ये तुम्ही आता एक चित्र बघत असाल, बरेचसे लोक आता मास्क वापरत नाही, बरेचसे लोक आता गर्दी करून उभे राहतात. हो की नाही? दिवाळीचा सण आलेला आहे, खूप जण गर्दी करतात, मार्केटला जातात. तर आपण आपल्या हेल्थ प्रोफेशन मध्ये आपण आहोत, आपल्याला याची सिव्हिरिटी आपल्याला माहिती आहे. म्हणून सर्व विद्यार्थ्यांनी तुमची तर काळजी घ्याच, तुमच्या बरोबर तुम्ही तुमच्या घरच्यांची सुद्धा काळजी घ्या. त्यांना सांगा की दुसरी लाट येण्याची शक्यता नाकारता येत नाही. हिवाळ्याचे दिवस आहे, हिवाळ्यामध्ये इन्फेक्शन खूप लवकर होतं, व्हायरल इन्फेक्शन, व्हायरल जास्त काळ टिकतो टेम्परेचर कमी असल्यामुळे. त्याच्यामुळे आपण सर्वांनी ज्या काळजी आपण मागील 8 महिन्यापासून घेत आहात, ती सर्व काळजी तुम्ही इथून पुढेही घ्या, कारण हे गरजेचं आहे. सर्व लोकल अथॉरिटी आपल्याला तेच सांगतं, हो की नाही? तर सर्वांनी काळजी घ्या. So this is from my side. Thank you very much for attending the online lectures. I am going to offline now. So have a nice day. Take care, dear students.